You ever notice how buying something nicer doesn't just bring joy, it brings pressure? That new apartment, the upgraded car, the designer watch. At first, it feels like a reward, but a few months in, you realize it's not just yours, it's asking something from you. It wants you to keep paying, to keep earning, to keep proving that you deserve it. And suddenly, the freedom you thought you had feels heavier than before. I've seen it in friends, in colleagues, and even in myself. That moment when a win becomes a weight. Have you felt that too? Where your lifestyle slowly starts dictating your choices, your anxiety, your conversations, maybe even your relationships. Here's the thing most people don't talk about. Lifestyle upgrades aren't inherently bad. We're told to reward ourselves, to treat ourselves when we work hard, and to enjoy the fruits of our labor. That's not the problem. The problem is the hidden psychology behind it. We think money equals freedom. We think an upgraded lifestyle equals happiness. But often it creates what I like to call financial inertia, a force that keeps you tied to the same income, the same grind, the same pressure just to sustain what you now need. Most financial advice focuses on budgets, spreadsheets, or investing, but they rarely touch the emotional cost. That nagging worry when a bill is due, the stress of keeping up with friends, the subtle judgment we feel when we can't maintain appearances. It's not just about money, it's about identity. And that's why most people underestimate how lifestyle changes can quietly take over your life. Let's break it down. Imagine this. You've been renting a small apartment for years, comfortable but nothing fancy. Then you get a raise, and you decide to move into a bigger place. It's beautiful. It feels like success. For the first month, everything is great. You love it. Friends are impressed. Maybe you even feel like you've made it. But then the rent hits, utility bills arrive, and suddenly your financial buffer isn't as forgiving. That new apartment demands consistency. You can't just earn more one month and slack off the next. It becomes a baseline, and every month it's a reminder, keep earning or this disappears. Now let's add the psychology. Humans are incredibly good at adapting. It's called hedonic adaptation. That apartment, that car, that upgrade, it quickly becomes the new normal. Your brain stops celebrating it as a win and starts treating it as a necessity. And the more necessities you add, the less room there is for breathing, for choice, for flexibility. I've noticed this pattern with people climbing career ladders. You get a promotion, a bonus, maybe even a corner office. But suddenly, there's an invisible contract. You can't just work less, you can't relax, because your lifestyle, your image, your status demands constant input. And stress? That grows silently. And it's not just external, there's internal pressure too. You start comparing yourself to others, not just colleagues, but Instagram friends, childhood friends, people you barely know. You see someone driving a car you like, living in a neighborhood you envy, and your mind whispers, you're behind, you need to catch up. All of this is subtle. It's not a sudden crisis, it's a creeping expectation. And here's where it hits hardest. Freedom, ironically, often decreases as income increases, because the higher your lifestyle climbs, the more it asks of you. And the more it asks, the more your decisions revolve around sustaining it. Let me give you another example. Think about tech gadgets. We upgrade phones, laptops, smartwatches. Each one feels like a small reward, but they also create micro expectations. Now you notice every minor flaw in the old model, every outdated feature. You start justifying a purchase not because you need it, but because the last version you owned doesn't fit your life anymore. It's a chain reaction. One upgrade leads to another, and suddenly your life feels like a series of obligations disguised as rewards. And here's the psychological kicker. You don't usually realize this is happening. It feels normal, even necessary, to keep moving forward. Now, here's the realization that changes everything. It's not the upgrade itself that's the problem. It's the mindset around it. If you see lifestyle improvements as symbols of identity rather than as tools, you become trapped. But if you reframe them as optional extensions of your life, something to enjoy without attachment, the pressure dissolves. You start asking, do I need this to feel worthy, or do I want this because it genuinely adds value? This subtle shift, thinking in terms of choice rather than obligation, changes everything. Suddenly, a higher rent doesn't feel like a chain. A new car doesn't feel like a debt of pride. They become what they are: conveniences, comfort, occasional joy. And here's where psychology meets freedom. When you detach identity from possessions, you reclaim control. The car, the apartment, the gadgets, they stop running your life. You run them. You can upgrade, downgrade, pause, or even reject without guilt or anxiety. So how does this look in real life? You get a raise, your first instinct might be to upgrade everything: apartment, lifestyle, gadgets. But pause. Ask yourself, what truly adds value to my life? What will reduce stress rather than increase it? Set a baseline of comfort, not excess. Treat upgrades like a sometimes, not a permanent expectation. This alone shifts the pressure dramatically. You're no longer enslaved to constant income increases. You're creating space for choice. Also, consider experiences over objects. Travel, learning, hobbies. They may cost money, but they enrich identity rather than inflating it. They reduce the invisible weight lifestyle upgrades create because they don't come with permanence. And finally, practice self-reflection. Every month, ask, what am I maintaining out of obligation? What is genuinely adding to my well-being? This awareness alone reduces stress and makes financial decisions emotionally sustainable. Here's what I want you to leave with. Money and lifestyle upgrades aren't the enemy. They can be tools for freedom, comfort, even joy. But if we're not careful, they can quietly become masters rather than servants. The pressure isn't in the money itself. It's in the attachment, the expectation, the identity we build around it. And recognizing that is liberating, because once you see the weight, you can choose to lift it. You can pause, you can simplify, you can reclaim space in your mind, your life, your choices. Progress is not about acquiring more, it's about choosing better. And every small step toward intentional, conscious living adds up in ways money alone never can. So next time you're tempted to upgrade, ask yourself not just can I afford it, but do I want to carry this? And if the answer is yes, enjoy it fully. But if it's no, remember, freedom, clarity, and peace of mind, they're priceless, and they weigh nothing at all.